we had some technical issues, which meant I couldn't stream qualifying number 1. And yeah, I'm gonna try to work my best from here. I'm not too sure what happened in the qualifying 1 because of the fact I completely missed it after having, as I said, technical issues. So now I'm just gonna send the link to my stream real quick. To everyone on Twitter. Now Q1 has finished. Let's see who got eliminated, because I couldn't really catch that from my 1 minute of looking on the screen. Of course, it's a full qualifying session. And hello there, Adam, welcome to the stream, to the VR social event. Bahrain shirt 100% race, which means there will be 58 laps around the circuit and a full qualifying session. 5 drivers have been eliminated: VR Obi-Twan, VR Kelvin, VR Jurgen, not too sure how to pronounce that, Matty and Kazizel. So they're all out of qualifying 1 and going into qualifying 2. I mean, outside the top 10 it's Flynn Finisher, Finley, Hid, Cola Killer and Symbolic, so they could be under threat in the next session. I was just waiting for everyone to join the stream. I was trying to get up on a different account, on the Virtual Esports Racing account, but unfortunately that didn't work. So now we're here on my channel that's completely dead. So now to give you some track facts about this circuit, is known as the paddock circuit here at the Bahrain International Circuit, because of the fact that it goes basically completely around the paddock, cuts off the normal sector 1, where what we would see in real life Formula 1 on the Grand Prix circuit. Then the length of this track is 3.7 kilometers, or else if you prefer in miles, 2.3 miles. Then the race distance will be 211 kilometers or 131 miles. Then there's 10 turns around this little short track, 6 to the right, 4 to the left. And then the tyres here available are the C4, C3 and C2s. The C4s, or the soft tyres, will last for 26 laps. The C3 tyres will last for 33 laps, and the C2 tyres, or the hards, will last for 40 laps. And the tyre difference between them is 0.7 seconds from the softs to the mediums, and 1 second from the softs to the hards. And I mean, we have a full grid here tonight, which is absolutely lovely. And now VR Ismail is starting his lap around the circuit, sub 1 minute times around here, which is very nice. The closest thing we will get to the actual Bahrain outer circuit that was of course used in the Sakir Grand Prix. But now looking at Ismail's lap going into the second DRS zone and the final DRS zone, I mean, he completely cut through sector 1 if this was real life, and now into turn 6 we go, and up the hill, up to turn 7 now. You have to be really careful not to hit that curb on the right, or else it's basically an auto spin curve. Some of them we saw in the F1 Championship edition back in 2006, I want to say. And now purple second sector for Ismail in the Red Bull, locking up his front right tyre, and now coming up to the finish, what will it be? DRS wide open. It's going to be at 59 flat for him, which is beaten straight away by VR. Oh, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, boy. By VR. I'm not going to even bother. He's at 58.2 lap time, which was beaten by the two FRL drivers, Finley 58.119 and Ginger currently on provisional pole position at 58.046. And now who else is on a lap? Rowan has started his lap, and behind him it was Shane who finished his lap on the medium combo of tyres, maybe trying to qualify on them to get the advantage strategy wise in the race. So yeah, 11 minutes remaining in the session, and who are your predictions for the winner of tonight's race? Put them down in the comments below. I would say subscribe to the virtual esports racing channel, but of course we're not streaming on it. But do make sure to follow them on Twitter, and I'm gonna have a cheeky plug. Please subscribe to my Twitter at CatNameMinty. Not subscribe, follow. And now, looking on Rowan's lap, I think he'll be going for another run or else going into the pits, as he is going very slowly. Yeah, he is starting his flying lap now, fully RS, the RS wide open, and Riley has predicted that it will be either FRL Ginger or Mike who win the Grand Prix. I mean, interesting shouts there. I'm probably backing one of them two, if I'm being honest. They could definitely win the Grand Prix. And I don't know, maybe FRL Finley, he could shake things up here tonight. Right now 1/10 behind the provisional pole position. But Rowan now going through turn 7 and up to turn 8, where we would see the sector 2 split, but of course due to the shortness of this track, the sector 2 split is here, and you went 9 seconds, 10 seconds faster than his previous lap time. And let's see now, coming up to the last few corners, where we of course saw Lewis Hamilton spin in pre-season testing, and what will it be? It's provisional pole position for the Red Bull driver, 57.8, 2/10 faster than Ginger, and this is a very good lap from the driver. I mean, hopefully we get to see these lap times getting beat by other drivers, but now Rowan is at a disadvantage because he is already on 2 lap old soft, so he'll be taking it very easy going back to the pits, so that he doesn't completely ruin his tyres for the start of the Grand Prix, while Flynn Finisher goes into 2nd position in the Alfa Romeo, 57.9, so decent lap time from him. And now Quicksilver, he's coming up to the end of his lap. What will it be for the AlphaTauri driver? There's wide open on the soft compound of tyres. He's going to be 7th position, 58.3, so he is under risk of getting eliminated from Q2 still. Now who is close to finishing their lap time hit? He's going into the pits, so I think it's one of the Haas's, Cortez. He will be starting his flying lap next lap around, so let's see how he goes through it. Of course, very different car to what we saw at pre-season testing. The American team now flying the Russian flag, of course, is banned from Formula 1 for the drivers to drive under due to the World Doping Agency, World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA for short. And now Cortez going into the right-hander. Of course, we would see the cars go straight on, and that is also where we saw the Roman Grosjean crash. Oh, thank God he's safe. But now going back to qualifying, Cortez into the left-hander uphill now, turn 7 and turn 8 now, sector 2 split. What will it look like for him? It's going to be a purple sector 2 for the QVR driver, and now in the last few corners, lock up on the front right, pretty common from these drivers, and now through the finish line is going to be 6th position, 58.1, so really close here tonight. The field is very packed, and yeah, it's going to be very close, and for pole position could even be decided by less than a tenth. And some more facts about this circuit, or even Bahrain International Circuit in general, that the outer circuit, if you remember that, or some people also refer to it as the oval circuit due to the clear lack of corners. Their lap time, the pole position lap time, was a 53.337, which is around 4 seconds slower than what these drivers are doing currently, and the Grand Prix layout is 30 seconds slower than this. It is a 1 minute 27.2, which was set by Lewis Hamilton in 2020. I'm just looking who else is on a lap. I think Mike is finishing his lap. Yes, he is. Another lock up from him. It was a bigger one than most of these drivers here. And now, coming up to the finish line, 1 minute, not 1 minute, sub 1 minute, 58.167 for him. And that's him up into 8th position, still at risk to getting dropped. And I mean, with 5 minutes remaining, it's Ismail, Jules, Symbolics, Quicksilver and Cola Killer not making it through to the last qualifying round. I must say, qualifying is quite difficult without a co-commentator. As with co-commentators, you can always speak to. Sadly, we don't have any tonight, as you can probably hear from me speaking 24/7. And now Jules comes through the line in 9th position, 58.2, but I don't think that will be enough at the end of the day to secure his position in Q3. And now Ismail, he's going to go through the final corner. Another lock-up. I mean, we will see a lot of tyre marks here at that corner, especially in the race. And it's 8th position for Ismail, getting ahead of Mike K by only 0.005 of a second. So very close margins between these drivers. And just to take example, Symbolics, slowest man out on track right now, 58.382, and provisional pole position is a 57.848. So it's only 0.5. It's very small margins that you have to squeeze in so much out of that car, and even one lockup could put you from 15th up to 10th, which is a very big jump up in places. Now I'm just checking who else is on a lap. Ismail, I don't think he is on a lap. It does not seem like it. He's pulling into a pit. I have a feeling he could go out for another one if he is lucky. Jules, is he going for another one? Yes, he is. So he isn't bothering to go into the pit. No, my bad. He actually dropped his lap time, and yeah, on 2 lap pole softs, he might have enough time to get back into the pits, but though that's 2 drivers out of the pits, it is Cola Killer and Mike K both out on the track now, and this is the time where we will see all these drivers pour out on track, and we might see a lot of traffic here. It's a very small circuit, as I mentioned before, 3.7 kilometers. And I mean, in Monza Q3 we saw a kerfuffle of cars back in 2019, and this could really be the same, especially with these drivers who are already on flying laps compared to the ones who are still waiting in the garage, as now Mike Hay is trying to hurry up the Renault driver Cola Killer to speed up, but Mike Hay, he overtakes him, and Cola Killer is now gonna have to wait up a little so that he doesn't get into the dirty air of the McLaren driver. And now as we see more and more cars going out the pits, we see an Alfa Romeo and a Ferrari there on the mini-map. That is Symbolics and Ismail all going out. And yeah, there's few drivers in the pits right now, and Cortez, he is starting his flying lap, very lucky not to hit the traffic going into that hairpin. So great job from the people on their out laps to obey rules and let him pass. Now going back up to the front, going back to who will be finishing their flying laps first is Mike K. What will it be? Will it be another lockup? Yes, it is. A very slight one. Just a millisecond, but that's still a lockup. And now Mike K. What will it be? It's 8th place, 58.082, and behind him it was Cola Killer, if I'm not mistaken. He goes past the line and he does not improve. And now Symbolics, he will be starting his lap. As Quicksilver goes fastest, 57.796, and he's the first man here to go into the 0.7s, but Rowan poaches him to that, 57.787, and he is on first position for qualifying 2 for now, but there's still many drivers who are to cross the finish line. FRL Ginger, for example, he's 2/10 faster on his previous lap time. Now coming up to the end of the straight, what will it be? 57.84, only good enough for third position. And now there was a McLaren, that was Mike K. He did not improve. Will he improve? He needs to get out of that drop zone. Does he? No, he doesn't. Cola Killer also doesn't. VR Symbolics now, he'll try to get out of that drop zone. He has to improve by 3/10. Will it be enough? No, it isn't. It's only good enough for 12th position. Ismail now jumps off to 12th position instead of Symbolics, and I'm not sure if anyone else is on a lap. Or else Rowan wants to improve. No, he doesn't. And I think that is qualifying over. Yes, it is. So now we're just waiting for everybody to get back into the pits, and we are waiting to start qualifying 3. I mean, so qualifying now, as I said, has ended. Cola Killer, VR Hid, VR Symbolics, Ismail and Mike K all out of Q2, and now as Cola Killer, I'm sorry, I didn't know he was on a lap still. I don't think that was good for his tyres, but I mean, he's into Q3, 58.06. I was about to mention how Jules got off lucky because he was only 100 of a second ahead of Mike, but I mean, Cola Killer on 3 lap old softs absolutely, I mean, surprised me. And he is through into Q3 in 10th position, and Jules, Mike, Hid, Ismail and Symbolics are out. Just to show how close it is up there, Rowan and Quicksilver are only separated by 9 thousandths of a second, and gap from first to 10th is less than 3/10. So these drivers really pushing it, really pushing the limits, trying to eke out every single performance out of their cars, and I mean, it's really showing. Now, under the lights in Bahrain, on the paddock circuit, who will be first out on track in this 12-minute session? Bit long, in my opinion, 12 minutes. I mean, in real life F1 I understand, but maybe not in the game. And we will also have a 100% race, so that will definitely be interesting. Especially interesting for my voice, as I mean, it's already going. I haven't commentated in a while now, especially not by myself, and it's double the work when you're doing it by yourself. And yeah, so how's everyone doing in the chat? 8 viewers currently watching, so great to see. And now almost everyone is out on track. The Williams, as I said before, I'm not gonna pronounce his name because I will just butcher it. No, he's out on an outlap now. It's Cortez, FRL Finley who's coming out now, and Quicksilver now out, still in the pits. So yeah, 10 minutes remaining, and people will be starting their flying lap times. VR Tijman. I am definitely mispronouncing these Dutch names. I'm sorry, I am not Dutch. I know like 3/4 of the lobby is Dutch, so I mean, I might as well not bother trying to pronounce their names correctly. And now, Flynn Finisher, he is also out on his lap. We see all these drivers locking up. Very easy to lock up their tyres. So yeah, now I see that chat is interacting a lot. So now Ismail leaves the session for some reason. That might be a disconnection from him, and that's Shane VK invalidating his lap time. Well, let's see now who is first to finish his lap time. It will be Flynn Finisher after Tijman, I think, invalidated his lap time. Let's see what he does in the Alfa Romeo. It's going to be at 57.906. And close behind him is FRL Ginger, 58.1. And Tijman with unrepresentative lap time, 1 minute 6.073. Rowan in the Red Bull, 57.937. And then, yeah, as I said, that the Mercedes of DLR Shane did not set a lap so far. Now the Williams, he's going through, and what will it be? 57.958. Cola Killer, 58.356. The biggest surprise for me, as I was not expecting him to get through into qualifying 3. Finley now through the finish line, 58.227, 1/10 behind his FRL teammate. And now we're just waiting for Shane, who is finishing up his lap now. And then we're gonna have to wait for QVR, Cortez, and Quicksilver to do their lap times. But now Shane, he goes through the finish line, and it's 58.4, not the best lap time from the Mercedes driver. And I mean, he will definitely have to improve on that if he wants to get that pole position, or even a top 5 finish, top 5 starting grid position. Now Cortez and Quicksilver both on outlabs, and these are the next 2 drivers who will see the finish line. Now Quicksilver, let's go for a lap on board of the AlphaTauri. Let's see how he does. Very wide entry to get as much speed as he can. Now DRS wide open, 8th gear. These cars are really fast, 335 kilometers per hour. I imagine he's using a custom setup. Lock up into turn 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th gear now, 5th. Down into 3rd gear, early shift up through this corner to maximize traction control, and now going into turn 6, 5th gear, and now up the hill as I said before here, easy to spin the car in 7th gear. Does he go up to 8th? No, he doesn't. Stays in 7th. Goes down to 4th for the second last straight, and he invalidates his lap time. So he'll have to go for another one this session. And now Cortez, let's see if he makes the same mistake as his rival Quicksilver. No, he doesn't. And now going through to the turn 9 and turn 10, going really onto the curb, luckily not to get invalidated. And let's see now, DRS Open, what will it be for Cortez? It's a 58.084, and that puts him into 1st position. Still not faster than Flynn Finisher, but I think that 57.9 could easily be beaten by 2 or 3 drivers tonight. I'm just checking who is on the lap. I'm not sure if Ginger is on the lap. It does look like he's going pretty fast through these corners. I mean, now 5.5 minutes remaining, and these drivers will probably be going out for their last run quite soon. Now the Racing Point with a big lock up. Let's see. He doesn't pull into pits. He goes for another lap. It's provisional pole position for Ginger's 57.89, but right behind him it's Flynn Finisher, 57.854 in the Alfa Romeo, and he sets the fastest lap time of the session so far, and it's a great lap time. Well, I mean, with everyone still with a run to go, I think it could be easily beaten, but now Flynn Finisher spinning it. I think he even hit the wall. Yeah, we see his front left end plate there lying on track. So the marshals will have to take that wing away pretty soon. And now Ginger, I imagine he's going into the pits soon. And yeah, now we see Finley. He went on an out lap, according to the game, and Shane, he is on an out lap, so he'll try to probably squeeze in 1 or 2 more runs after this one. I'd imagine 1 more, but it'll be a very tight squeeze for the Mercedes driver if he wants to have 2 more chances here. Now as we see the Alfa Romeo Flynn Finisher pulling into the pits on the minimap, Cola Killer also on an out lap. And I wonder if he'll be going for the same strategy of 3 lap old softs as before. And now Shane, he will start his flying lap, going through the really weird left-hander around this track, as you have to go really on the inside of it to get the best turn in for turn 5, if turn 4. So it's very weird sector 1 in my opinion. It kind of reminds me of Turkey, the last few turns, and we could see some amazing side-by-side action through there. As it will definitely be difficult to get 2 cars through there, but when we do see it, I imagine it will be absolutely fantastic. But now Shane, he's coming up to the end of his lap. Will it be a competitive one this? It's going to be a 58.145, which puts him into 6th position. Here's now Finley, he is on an out lap. Tidgeman, he's on an out lap. Quicksilver, he's on an out lap. I mean, most drivers are on track, apart from Rowan, who's now coming out of the pits. So late pit exit for the Red Bull driver. And let's see now, Cola Killer, he is going faster than his previous times, and it's a 58.1, only puts him into 6th position. He'll be looking to improve on that. Quicksilver, he will be starting his lap time, so he'll be the first man to go through the line after this. Then it's going to be Eferal Finley, who he has the engine glitch for me, so I won't be spectating him for now. Then it's Shane, who goes a little bit faster than his previous lap time. Not enough though to put him up any kind of position. And now it's going to definitely get very spicy as we see all these drivers absolutely pushing the limits of their machinery. And now Quicksilver, he's coming up to Sector 2 split. What will it be for the Dutchman? It's a 43.452. Don't think that's the best of lap times. Big lock up going into that turn 9, turn 10 now. And it's going to be a 57.644. 2 tenths faster than his closest rival, and it's an absolute blistering lap from Quicksilver. Now, who else is on a lap? Tidgeman. That I don't think it's a competitive lap. No, it isn't. Then the Williams. He's coming up to a line. Will he be able to have better lap? Yes, it is. Fifth. Yes, he has fifth position. 57.934. And now Flynn finisher. He gone slower, so he has to go for another lap. And now Ginger. He will also be going for another lap, so let's see. Cola Killer goes into the pits. As now Quicksilver, he also goes in the pits. Finley, what will he do? As Cola Killer retires from the session. Sorry for the engine glitch, but what will it be? I don't think it's going to be a competitive lap time. No, it isn't. Behind them is Tidgeman. He goes into 7th position. Perfect 58-second lap. Then the Williams, he crashes out of the Grand Prix, the qualifying session. QVR Cortez, he goes into 7th, 1/10 faster than his previous lap time. And then the Racing Point of FRL Ginger, will he improve? Yes, he does, and only up to 2nd position. And I have a feeling that the struck Williams on the middle of the road really hinder his lap. He had to go onto the grass, but it is, if I'm not mistaken, Quicksilver on pole. Well, there is still Finley out on the lap. Of course, last time out we saw Cola Killer, who completely surprised me with his lap, so I'm going to pay close attention to Finley, and I think he's in the pits. Yes, he is. So it is Quicksilver on pole position for tonight's 100% Bahrain shirt race. Rowan in 2nd, FRL Ginger in 3rd, Flynn finisher in 4th, Finley in 5th, VAR Gord. Now, if there's anyone in chat who knows how to pronounce that, please let me know how to. Then Cortez in 7th, Tidgeman in 8th, Cola Killer in 9th, and Shane in 10th position. So now these are the full results, and only 4.5 tenths separating pole position from 10th place and the 1st and 2nd lap time. 57.6. Absolutely blistering, absolutely lightning fast from these two drivers. And I have a feeling Rowan, he could have gotten a faster lap time in, I mean, it's 3 hundredths of a second. These are very close margins that we're speaking about. So yeah, now if we're going into the race, if I'm not mistaken, there is a formation lap for the drivers to warm up their tyres, but to remind you of the tyre situation, at least their lifespans, it's 26 laps for the soft tyre, 33 laps for the medium tyre, and the hard tyres go 40 laps, and the race distance is 57 or 58 laps. I want to say it's 58. So it's definitely going to be an interesting Grand Prix. Full grid here, so plenty of chaos, plenty of fighting, everyone trying to show their worth. Here in the social event. Now as we're waiting for everyone to pick their strategy, I have a feeling it's going to be a soft medium for the drivers, maybe soft medium. Not too sure. I didn't really check the pit strategy, which hopefully the game will provide to me. But yeah, I mean, I doubt anyone will be going on the hard tires, as the hards, they are by far the slowest tire, and yeah, there's usually practically zero grip on it. It's a very difficult tire to race on. Now, yeah, we see them setting up further formation lap. It's Quicksilver as we see Flynn Finisher go up to first position as he completely cuts the track. Not sure what he's doing there. He is absolutely degrading his tires right now. He is trying to warm them up, but because he'll be sitting on the grid for so long, while he waits for Quicksilver and the back of the pack of Obi, Twan, VR, Kelvin and Jurgen to line up, he is definitely not doing himself a favour, even his tyres a favour, so his start might be a little bit hindered. Now we see Quicksilver slowing up the pack. We see Rowan, Everell Ginger, Finisher, Finley, the Williams, Cortez, Tijman, Cola Killer, Shane, Jules, Mike, Cave, Hid, Ismail, Symbolics with a big lock-up, Kazizel, Matty, Jurgen, Kelvin and Obi-Twan, and we will be waiting for all of them to line up to start this 57 lap long race, and hopefully my voice does not go. And I was just waiting for the perfect camera position as we see the back of the grid lining up for the start of the Grand Prix. Now hopefully we won't get a big timing glitch, as those are always a pain. But now 4, 5 red lights out and away we go. It's an amazing start from Quicksilver, but Rowan with an even better one. He's down the inside of turn 1 on Quicksilver. That's Ginger in third position, Flynn Finisher up in fourth, and big love from Quicksilver. So Rowan is now up to turn 1, up to position number 1. And now we see a lot of side-by-side battling here, as that is a Renault off the track. Who was that? I think that was Jules. Yes, it is. He's out of the session. But now Cortez and Tijman, they're going side by side. Yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. And Cortez, he gets ahead of Tijman momentarily. But now Finley and Tijman are going side by side. Cortez, Shane goes down the inside of the Haas driver, and he has to concede his position. Tijman, he has to concede his position to the Racing Point driver, as there's more yellow flags down the grid. Who's that? That's VR Ismail spinning off the track, where we of course saw Hamilton spin in day 2 of testing. And now we see as the timing glitch comes back, Cortez, he's going for a move on the Mercedes of Shane. And Shane, will he be close enough to Tijman? Yes, he is. They collide a little, which allows Cortez to get past him. And that's Shane not moving up any positions at all. Well, now he's right at the back of the Haas driver yet again, so he'll be probably looking for a move. Overtake mode engaged, as we see behind them the two McLarens fighting for a position, one of them on the mediums, one of them on the softs. And now Mike Hay, he's going round the outside of Hid, and I think that's a job done for him. No, it isn't, as Mike Hay, he goes for a move back on his McLaren teammate, and he retains 10th position, while Cortez and Shane, they are still going side by side. Absolute great battling from the two of them. And now Shane, I think he'll have to stay behind him for a second. Both of them using overtake mode, but now up ahead is Quicksilver and Eferel Ginger going side by side into turn 1. Quicksilver going from pole position down to third already, so a bit of a Valtteri Bottas start from him. Not the best. He could have definitely done a lot better on at the start. And now Flynn finisher, he is behind the AlphaTauri driver with the RS wide open for nearly everyone now. I think we might see some DRS trains forming, but it is a very short lap time around the circuit, sub 1 minute. So, I mean, we're already 3 laps in, and it felt like it went by like a flash. I mean, now Flynn finisher in the Alfa Romeo, he will be going after the other Alpha, the AlphaTauri, as they collide. Flynn finisher, he touches the rear of Quicksilver, and finisher, he loses a little bit of time, which won't allow him to go for the move, I don't think, as Rowan, he's just getting further and further away from the pack. 1.8 the gap is now, so he's doing a very good job commanding the lead. I think further down the grid, that's Shane. Will he go around the outside of Cortez? These two have been battling all race long right now, and it's absolutely lovely to watch. As there's more yellow flags. Who is that? I think that was Obi-Twan. Yes, it is. I think he spun there, but not too sure exactly the reasoning for that. And now Shane, he's too far away from the Haas driver to make a move, but he is getting closer to Mercedes, the black Mercedes, no longer the silver arrows. And yeah, I have to cool down a little after that very monumental start. I mean, a lot of action there, but now we see Quicksilver, he goes for a move on the racing point, and he will regain his second position. And will Flynn finisher go for a move? Yes, he does, round the outside after the racing point, try to defend the inside line. They're still going side by side, and now Flynn, will he go for a switchback? No, he doesn't. So that's Efrel Ginger only losing 1 position so far, but Shane and Hit, they are battling for a position. Hit trying to get up to 9th position ahead of the Mercedes driver, and let's see if he can do it now down the inside of turn 6 it is. They are still side by side, both of them using overtake mode, and I think that's the McLaren ahead. No, it isn't. Big dive from the Mercedes driver, and he's into the gravel. And that's him going down to 10th position, now going side by side with a different McLaren, this McLaren being of Mike Kay. And I think he'll be ahead of the driver. No, he isn't. They are colliding, some wheel-to-wheel action. Rubbing is racing. And now Cola Killer, he goes for a 3-man move. They're going 3 wide into turn 1. And I think that's Cola Killer ahead of both of them. Yes, it is. Mike and Shane still battling for a position. This leaves Matty opportunity to get ahead of the McLaren driver. Some great racing here as Shane with some very audacious defending moves. I mean, he is defending for his life right now, and they are still going side by side through the same corners. And who is that? That's Tijman. He's off the course, he's off the road. I don't know what happened exactly. And that's also Mike Kay off the road. He went into the gravel at the same place where Shane did, and Tishman has left the session. I don't think there's any safety cars here. Well, now Symbolics, he goes for a move on the McLaren driver. The McLaren driver has to take some cautious action, and he goes off the road. But now further up the grid, it is Quicksilver getting ahead of Efrel Ginger. And the Mercedes in the mid-pack, they are battling for a position. But I think Shane is being a little bit more peaceful, to say the least, with his teammate. But now up ahead, it's Efrel Ginger versus Quicksilver again. And Ginger with a very easy move on the AlphaTauri. And Quicksilver loses a lot of traction there, which leaves him vulnerable for an attack from Flynn finisher. And he is up in 4th position. He is wiggling his wheel for some reason. I think he's a little bit mad that he couldn't get the pole position, that he couldn't get that move on Quicksilver earlier, as Obi-Twan spins again down in sector 2, but we can see here Flynn Finisher, he just doesn't have the straight line speed, but who does? Quicksilver does, and he's up into second position, but it's a big dive from him, locks up his both tires, and that's Ginger back up ahead. So some great racing here. I mean, this is amazing to watch. I am sure of that. I'm loving to commentate this. Quicksilver now, will he go for a move? No, he doesn't. He is running very low wings. The AlphaTauri, which might not be helping him in the turn in, for example, turn 1, but his straight line speed is amazing, as I just completely froze when I saw Quicksilver nearly losing it. And now Flynn Finisher, he goes for a move on Quicksilver, and that's him ahead of him before the DRS straight. As behind there was Obi-Wan spinning again, leaving more yellow flags. And now Flynn Finisher, will he be close enough to the racing point to go for a move? Yes, he is, but yeah, country mile, and that's him into second position. Ginger has to give back that position, as I think there was a little bit of contact. We saw FRL Ginger, he had to save his car a little. I'm not too sure if it was because he lost under braking or it was a slight love tap from Quicksilver, but it is what it is. Ginger is down into first position, Quicksilver up to third, and we can just see the straight line advantage that Quicksilver has. He is absolutely blitzing it up on the straight, as there's more yellow flags. That's for Jurgen, not too sure how to pronounce his name, as Cortez now, he gets ahead of Finley. I think Finley has disconnected from the session, or he's just taking a break for a water or something. But that's him losing positions currently. And now you can see here Ronan absolutely commanding the lead. 4.5 seconds the gap is now, and he is looking definitely like the favourite to win the race at this current stage. Now Quicksilver, he has to catch back up to Alfa Romeo, as the gap went to nearly a second, and once you lose that DRS, it is really hard to regain. Now FRL Ginger, he is getting closer to Quicksilver, but I don't think he'll be close enough. No, he isn't. But here Finley and Hid are battling for position. Finley nearly nudging Hid off of the track, but he did correct himself and gave him the space. Obi-Wan with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as that's double lockup for Finley, which means Hid hit him in the back. And Hid, I don't think he'll be very happy by that. I don't think there's any wing damage on the McLaren, so that's good news for him. As there's yellow flags in sector 2 and 3, that is for Ismail. Not too sure if he's retiring or not. And who's that into the pits? That's Quicksilver into the pits. He started losing time, so he said, you know what, I'm going to go for the undercut, and he did that. He's down into last place, if I'm not mistaken. The pit stop time loss is 22.5 seconds around this track, so I mean it is nearly half the lap at this circuit. And now Cola Killer, he goes very wide, which leaves him vulnerable to VR Symbolics. Symbolics now, he'll be going side by side with him. He gets the move done before the turn, and a great move from him, as Ismail also retires from the session. So that's already 4 retirees tonight. 16 drivers remaining. Now looking back at the front, or at the midfield should I say, not really the front of the pack. Let's see, Shane, he's down to 9th. His very hard battling didn't fare so well, it seems. He is, well, as I said, down in 9th, so he could be doing a lot better. Cortez right behind the Williams driver. Will he be able to get past him though? As the Williams driver does have a small gap to the racing point. Both have the same engine. Of course, it is equal cars. Well, the advantage that the Williams has is that he does have DRS on him. Now, any other fights happening in the field? Shane, he is just at the back of the pack, just catching the DRS from his teammate, but he is very low on DRS, quite surprisingly. I would have thought he would be a lot. He would have had a lot more. But we can see here the Williams. He has 75% ERS, and now he's going for a move on the racing point of FRL Ginger, and that's him in front of the pink Mercedes, and now known as the Aston Martin, of course, for a 2021 season. And it was a very good overtake, very easy overtake for the Dutchman. And yeah, that's him up into a podium position. Flynn finisher now, taking the gap from 4.5 seconds to 4.1 seconds on Rowan. But further down the grid, it's Hid and Finley battling. I mean, you can just never get enough battling around this track, can you? This also leaves Matty very close to the back of the racing point. Almost too close for his liking, nearly nudging the back of Finley. And now I have a feeling Finley, will he be close enough to a McLaren to go for a move? Of course, it looks like the 2021 McLaren, but no, it's the 2020 McLaren. Of course, they didn't really change their livery this season. But now we see here, it could be a Mercedes versus Mercedes, a duel in the desert for the Silver Arrows, as we saw in 2016. Now I have a feeling the battles are dying down a little. Of course, they are still very close proximity of each other. It's just all of them are in a DRS trade. All of them are using overtake. That no one really can go for the move. We can go check back on Quicksilver, who did pit in earlier to go onto a soft compound of tires. He is 11.6 seconds behind the closest driver, and how far away is he from the lead? 26.6 seconds, so still 4 seconds behind Rowan if Rowan was to pit in. So not the best news for Quicksilver. And I was just checking, I think the only battle right now, it's Mike versus Cola Killer. Mike, he's going for a move after he got shunted off track by Shane, and now he's up into 12th position, outbraking himself a little, as that is Kelvin going for a move on Cola Killer. I completely missed that. Kelvin caught me and Cola Killer sleeping, and that's him up into 13th position, and that is another driver retiring, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is Jurgen. So that's 5 drivers already out of the Grand Prix, many of them just retiring due to the fact that they were nowhere close to the field. And I mean, I don't really blame them. If they're that far off the field in such a on such a small track, you can't, I mean, it's kind of boring. Now 16 laps under our belt with 41 remaining. Yes, I am correct. And yeah, oh, as that's Cortez getting really close to the back of FRL Ginger. And now you can see a really big train forming up behind the Williams. It goes from him to FRL Ginger, to Cortez, to Hid, to Finley, to Matty, to Shane. So it's a very big pack. As Kazisel, he could be getting close to the pack. 2.5 seconds the gap is to them. So anytime he could probably catch up to them. But he does have Symbolics on the back of him, so he won't make it that easy. As Flynn finisher, he makes the gap 2/10 smaller to the Red Bull driver. But now Cortez, will he be close enough? No, he isn't. As FRL Ginger, he does have the straight line advantage. I think running really low wings around the circuit really helps. Only 10 corners, the least amount of corners on the calendar, unless the Britain short track has less, but I highly doubt it. And I was just checking on the position changes of the drivers. Rowan went up 1, Flynn finisher went up 2, the Williams went up 3, FRL Ginger went down 1. Cortez went up 2. Hid with 7 up from his starting position. Matty 9 up from his from his starting position. And Quicksilver the biggest loser so far, but he is the only driver with his second, one of only 2 drivers who have made a pit stop, as now he is one of 3 drivers because the Williams fits in and so does Finley. So what tyres will they be going on to? Now their pit garages are at the very end, and that is the Williams up going on to the hard come out tyres, and so is Finley. So I was completely mistaken, they might be taking the hard tyres. According to my statistics, if you want to call them that, they only last 40 laps, and I'm not too sure if that's to 100% or if that's to I want to say 75%, because that's when you get punctures. So yeah, now we can see 4 drivers on new compounds and the rest of the grid on old ones, as we saw Mike K extend track limits there, which did serve him which did give him a penalty, as FRL Ginger now goes in the pits trying to cover the undercut by his teammate and the Williams driver. What tyre does he go onto? He goes onto the hard come out tyres. So now we're waiting for the rest of the front of the pack to pit in. Let's see. The tyres they are on. The top 10 still haven't pit in, while the rest of the grid have. So, but now the Williams and the Ginger are going side by side on the hard come out tyres. This is definitely not helping their undercut strategy, as they do collide a little. Finley, he is 1.5 seconds behind them, but now the Dutchman is going for a move on the racing point, and will that be job done for him? Yes it is, as there's yellow flags up ahead. Who is that? That's Pierre Quicksilver. He gets in front of them two, and thank God ghosting is on, because that would have been a very nasty accident to see. Yes, I just had to take a sip of water. Very tiring. Absolutely screaming on the top of my lungs about cars battling each other. And now he's 3/10 behind Cortez, and Matty further 3/10 behind Hid. So it's looking very close there, as Quicksilver retires from the session. He retires in the pit, so his undercut definitely didn't work out. Don't think he was very happy from how it went, so he just decided to retire. As now Ginger, they are fighting for potential podium positions here. But still with 37 laps remaining, 36 now after the Red Bull of Rowan crossed the finish line. It's getting very close, as now Hid, he goes for a move on the Haas driver, and he is up into 3rd position, which could be inherited by some of the drivers down below, as there is more yellow flags. Who is that? That's Cola Killer. Yes it is. He has spun at turn 7, and just to get some chat interaction going about maybe potentially real life F1, who do you think has who surprised you the most, and who do you think is going in as the favourite going into this season? At least for me, it is Red Bull. They have done an amazing job in testing. Fastest lap from Max Verstappen from all the test days, and they managed to rack up 369 laps under their belt. As Cortez, he loses the back end a little, which means Matty will be able to go for a move on the Haas driver, and will he be able to go for a second one? Will he be able to go for the McLaren driver? I think he is. He goes for a dive, and Hid does give him the space, very gentlemanlike from the McLaren driver. But now Cortez, he's back on the move. on the Mercedes driver, but I don't think he'll be close enough. No, he isn't. He loses the traction again, so his back end is really looking like the back end of the Mercedes W12 that we saw this season. As now FRL Ginger is back up to 11th position. And yeah, I mean, this lap goes through in a blink of an eye. It does it does remind me, this track, of the actual oval that the Bahrain International Circuit has, but of course they don't take the up. They don't go up the hill as we do through turn 6 and 7. That's now Cortez, Flynn finisher, Shane and Rowan all into the pits on lap 23. And what tyres are they going on to? They're going on to medium carb tyres, and I have a feeling that was the smart decision. Let's see where FRL Ginger comes out though. Will it be close to them, or did the undercut work? It definitely did not work on Rowan, but did it work on the Alfa Romeo? I think it has. Yes, it has, and they're going side by side into turn 1, and Flynn finisher now going out the pits with potentially some popcorn in his hand, watching them two unfold. As now finisher, he is sliding all over the place on his cold tyres, and he will have a chance to go for a move on the racing point, which he takes, and that's him past the driver, as I think he made a little bit of contact with the Williams, and that's him back down to 10th position. I saw that he had to really readjust his steering, so potentially had to just avoid the Williams driver, as Nikita Mazepin had to avoid Hamilton twice in the test sessions. And now he's going into the pits, he's going onto the medium carb tyres as well, and he's also changing his front wing, so there was obviously something wrong with that McLaren, which now has been fixed, and hopefully for him, he will be able to challenge for some good points. And now Flynn finisher, he goes for a move on the BWT branded a racing point in the dusk here at Bahrain, and that's him into 8th position. Now the McLaren, the Williams, he's still in 7th, but finisher, he is sliding all over the place. FRL Ginger back on the attack, back on the offense, and I don't think he'll be close enough for a move. No, he isn't. Flynn finisher again, nearly out, breaking himself there, and Kazizel now up at the front. He is getting very close to the Alfa Romeo of Symbolics. These two cars very evenly matched here in the social event and in real life. As now that is Matty going into the pits, and where will he come out? Because there is a big train just behind him, and I wouldn't really like to be in the midst of that midfield scrap, as he gets thrown right at the back of it, which also isn't good for him. And now let's see how this unfolds. I mean, big train from the Williams of VR Boyrord all the way down to the LR Matty. Now I'm going to go back to the front of the pack. None of them are pitting in yet. I'm not too sure why. Oh yeah, they are on the mediums. Completely forgot about that fact. Mike K, of course, he has a time penalty under his name as Rowan. He says the fastest lap time, 1 minute 0.590. I wonder if the medium runners go onto the softs, could we see a sub 1 minute lap time here in the actual Grand Prix? But now that's Cortez battling with Finley. Cortez has just had not enough of a battling, it seems like it. He just wants to fight for every position he sees, and that's him up to 9th position, up ahead. Nothing really happening at the front of the small train that they have going, that they have there. So now Shane, he is at the back of Finley, and could we see a move on Finley? Finley loses the traction a little. He has to correct it, and he went out onto the runoff area. It looks like sand. Sadly, it isn't. It actually fooled me when I was younger. But now Shane, he goes for a move on the Racing Point driver. They are going absolutely head to head. And will he make the move sick? Down the inside, pushes him out wide a little. And that's him up into 10th position. And he'll be looking to get back on Cortez. They already have history here earlier on in the Grand Prix. And with 30 laps remaining exactly, this could... anything can happen. Now Symbolics with a 3-second time penalty. Now do they come into the pits? I'm not too sure, because Sizzle, he is ahead of Symbolics by 3 seconds now. Does Symbolics have any issues? Because he completely drops off. No, he doesn't. And now going back to the big midfield slash provisional leader fight is QVR Cortez going for a move on Ginger, and I think that might be job done for him. But up ahead it's also Flynn Finisher going up for a move on the Williams driver, and that's 2 positions change here. No, it isn't, because the Williams driver gets back on him, and Cortez, he tries to go down the inside of the Alfa Romeo, doesn't quite do it, but now he'll have another chance going into turn 6. But Flynn Finisher just has the superior straight line speed, which means Cortez can't really do much in that situation. Now, I mean, this is looking very close. You could just even throw a blanket over all of them. They are so close. I'm surprised none of them have broken their front wings yet, as Symbolics into the pits, the first man from the medium runners to pit in. And I imagine he'll be going on to the softs, but I will still keep an eye on this battle here. Flynn Finisher now down the inside, and that is job done unless he outbreaks himself again. That was a big lockup from him, but thankfully for his race he gets past him pretty easily. And now Matty, he's still right at the back of this pack. He wants to definitely get past the carbon copy that is the Racing Point, and then the actual carbon copy of his car, the car of the LR Shane. But now Rowan, he is catching up to the alternative strategy runners. Will some of them pit in? No, they don't. Rowan now, he'll be looking to get a move on these slower drivers, as he will go 3 wide now going into turn 1. Kelvin has to concede the position, and so does Mike K. And now Kelvin, he could be going for a move on the McLaren driver. Will he have the straight line speed, which has been oh so important this Grand Prix? And he doesn't, as Quicksilver leaves the session after spectating it for quite a while, I must say. And now Cortez, he is getting closer and closer to that Williams driver, just not close enough. Not close enough, because they both have DRS, both of them are using overtake mode, and it's just not really possible. And now QVR Cortez, back on board with him. Let's see how he does it here, as he loses the traction a little, which isn't good news for him. But the Williams still somehow has DRS on the Williams driver. The Williams still has DRS on the Alfa Romeo driver. That was my bad. Doing a little bit of a crofty there. But QVR Cortez stays behind him for another lap, unless he manages to get him into turn 6, which I don't think he will. No, he doesn't. So now FRL Ginger, could he spark something up here? He is still close behind to the Haas driver. But as I said before, they are just not close enough, these drivers. All of them sitting in that DRS train, just waiting for nothing really. But now VR Broyard, he does not have DRS, but will Cortez be close enough to him? Will he go for the move? He takes the defensive line, the Williams driver, and Cortez is just not close enough to him. Or is he now looking at this? There was a lock-up from the Racing Point driver, and he could get attacked by Shane. No, he doesn't. So that's some good news for Ginger. And he got very lucky there to not lose a position. And now as we see Mike K and Kazizel and Kelvin all on 31 lap hold medium. Surely they'll be coming in. Yes, they are. Kazizel is at least. Will Mike K come in? No, he doesn't, and Kelvin does not either. Well, now QVR Cortez, all these drivers really close to the back of each other, and let's see what unfolds here. It's QVR Cortez going to the right of the Williams driver, and could we see the Racing Point go for a move? He is trying to go for it, but I don't think he'll be able to. No, he doesn't. Symbolics with the fastest lap now, and the Williams driver is still trying to get, trying to defend from Cortez. It just doesn't happen, and Cortez is up into 5th position, the Williams down to 6th, and FRL Ginger now trying to be very opportunistic and get ahead of the Williams driver, but it just doesn't seem like he'll do it. And now surely Kelvin and Mikey will be pitting in. They have been out on these tyres for 32 laps. That's basically most of a 50% race in standard league racing, as only one of them is in the pits. Kelvin stays out, but let's see here, with the Williams is under attack from Ginger. Will he be able to make the move? Round the outside goes Ginger, and now he takes the inside for this lane, but it turns into the outside again, and Ginger locks up quite heavily. He will have to switch back on him, but will it be good enough from Ginger? I think it will. No, it isn't, as I wouldn't be surprised if the Williams used some of his overtake mode there, or for his case defensive mode, as Symbolics is another fastest lap of a 1 minute 5/10. I know, I mean, I've just been looking at these two, but it is the closest fight that we have on the field right now. I mean, you probably don't want me to be doing an F1 broadcast that goes to Rowan half the time, because he is just commanding the lead. I mean, 8.8 seconds ahead of everyone else, as Kazizel nearly breaks that 1 minute lap time with a 1 minute .078. So we are getting very close to break that 1 meter, not 1 meter, 1 minute stable, and yeah, get into the sub 1 minutes as we did back in qualifying. Now let's see, FRL Ginger with a big lock up from him, and now 7th gear, 8th gear, he is right behind him. And will he be able to make the move though? I don't think he is quite close enough to him. It definitely does not seem like it, and I mean, I highly doubt that he'll get the move on him this lap, as Kazizel goes even faster, only 0.04, only for hundredths of a second to get that sub 1 minute. But who does? VR Mike K does. 59-second lap time 59.4 if I'm not mistaken, so well done to him. He is the first man to get into that sub 1 minute mark in the actual Grand Prix. As now FRL Ginger with a very, very sketchy slide there, as I mean Shane being very aggressive there, pushing him off track. And I mean that is a characteristic I'm seeing from Shane today. Haven't seen him race before, but from today he is very aggressive. I mean, racing is racing. As now he goes all the way to the right to fend the line. He squeezes Ginger all the way to the left hand side. And will he squeeze him out a little bit onto the curb? No, he doesn't. FRL Ginger now, they are still side by side. Very lovely helicopter view. Ginger now nearly going on a runoff as they collide a little. We see there the red light going back from the back of Shane's Mercedes. That indicates that he is low on ERS, less than 10%, and as we see here, he's on 6% ERS, so that just confirms that. And yeah, that is whenever you're in recovery mode, that red light just flashes to show the other drivers that you might be a little bit slower. And now DLR Matty, he is getting closer to his teammate, and we could see a move from him on Shane, but Shane, he goes for a move on Ginger. And will it be a successful one, this? I think it will be, as they collide a little, FRL Ginger and DLR Matty. And Ginger now, he has fallen down to 6th position. Shane back up to 5th position. So good recovery drive from the Mercedes driver. As further down the road, it's Kazizel versus Mike K versus Hid. And now that's Kazizel up into 9th position with 19 laps remaining. Well, let's see. Now going back to the fight for 6th position, FRL Ginger just losing his pace, locking up again. I think that's because of his hard tyres. I think the hard tyres weren't really the best move for him, but now the Mercedes of Matty, he could be going for a triple overtake here, as his Mercedes teammate completely cuts him off. Let's see what's happening here. Will Ginger leave him the space? Barely any space. They are driving really rough here. That's Shane with a big lockup, which allows Matty to get past him. And that's Shane down into 7th position in only 4 corners. And yeah, it's looking very spicy here for the battle for 5th. 1 racing point, 2 Mercedes drivers, and I mean you can count it as a potentially a racing point double sandwich, as they got 2 Mercedes in between them too. As Ginger, if this was any realistic, CLR Matty, he went really off the road. Very lucky to save that. I thought that was just a little bit of lag, but it wasn't. Now Finley, he goes onto the grass a little to go for a move on Matty. And Shane, he's kind of blocking these 2 drivers in. They make a little bit of contact. And now Kazizel, he goes round the outside of the Mercedes driver. And will that be enough for him? I think it will be. Yes, it is. So that is DLR Matty down to 9th position, but Kazizel goes for a move on the racing point, and that's him up into 7th position in the span of 3 corners. So fair play to a Ferrari driver. And now DLR Matty and Finley, they both will be fighting now for 8th position. And yeah, now more yellow flags. Who is that? That's VR Symbolics spinning, probably on that auto spin curb. He loses a lot of his front wing, and with 16 laps remaining, it's not looking good for him, but it is looking good for Cortez, who goes for a move on Flynn finisher down the inside of turn 1. A great move from him, as now Shane goes for a move on Ginger. And I think that's him up into 5th position. Yes, it is. More yellow flags. Alex retires from the session exactly where Jack Aitken had his incident back in 2020. Why did I say back in? That wasn't even a long time ago. As the safety car has now been deployed. And who was ahead? Was it Kazizel or FRL Ginger? I think it was Kazizel. FRL Ginger will be very frustrated by that. And yeah, I didn't even know the safety car was out, as Cola Killer also binned it there. We saw his ghost for a slight moment there, but Ronan with his 11-second gap, he can't afford to go into the pits. So does Cortez and Flynn Finisher. I think they're all going into the pits. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. FRL Ginger getting really close to the back, as Riley said that everyone is going into the pits, and I mean, you are wrong, Riley. DLR Matty has stayed out, so I mean, I feel like Matty will just drop down the pecking order here pretty quickly. Ronan, Mike K, he is on 7 lap old softs, so I mean he is already on the softs, but they are quite old. Cortez, Flynn Finisher, Boy Word, I still need someone to tell me how to pronounce that. DLR, Shane in 7th, Kazizel in 8th, FRL Ginger in 9th, VR Hid in 10th, and Finley and Kelvin in 11th and 12th. So now with 15 laps remaining, and some of them will be under the safety car, as it is not being in just yet. It will be DLR Matty who will restart the pack whenever the Mercedes re-race as one safety car comes in. And of course from 2021 onwards it will be an Aston Martin or else a red Mercedes. So I mean, really not sticking to their Silver Arrows idea, if I do say so the least, if I do say so myself. And yeah, I can't wait to see that Aston Martin out on track, to be fair. It looks absolutely lovely, that safety car. I mean, hopefully it won't be for any big incident, but for a mechanical failure, I mean, I'd love to see it out. As I just had to take a little bit of a water break there, due to the fact I've been commentating non-stop for the past 82 minutes. Don't think that's the best idea for your voice, as the safety car is in this lap according to race control. I mean, when it's according to race control, we know it's official, unless it's some penalties after the race, then we just never know. We'll know a year after the Grand Prix, but now we will see Taylor Matty. He is warming up his tyres in the number 95 Mercedes. Absolutely lovely car. Shame it was sticker bumped by AMG this season. And now when will he restart the pack? Will we see any incidents? I think he has restarted the pack. Yes, he has. Overtake mode engaged. And now Rowan, he will be close to the back of Matty, and will he be close enough to make the move down into turn 1? He does have slipstream, no DRS yet for the Red Bull driver. I think he goes for it. Yes, he does. Very audacious move from the Red Bull, and that's him up into first position right after turn 1. And now Mike K, he goes for a lovely undercut switchback on the McLaren, on the Mercedes driver. And now Cortez, will they go 3 wide? Will Cortez make it 3 wide? Yes, he does. And Matty just got completely sandwiched. He's down to 4th position. He's probably regretting not going onto the soft tyres, as now everyone is miles quicker than him. And yeah, we see now it will be a battle for 2nd position, as Rowan, he has just blitzed past them 1.3 seconds, 1.4 seconds the gap is already, as we see some very uh, dangerous driving there. As who is that? That is Matty. Matty is into the wall, and I think that's race over for him after the safety car. He should have been, but he didn't listen to Riley, and he spun at the end of it. But now, oh, there's more contact. Cazizzel hitting the Williams, and now FRL Ginger and Shane getting past him, or else Ginger is trying to get past the Williams driver. And Cazizzel now, he is going side by side with Hid, and I think Hid made the position. Yes, he has. And now Mike K, he is right at the back of Cortez. I did not see that move happen, sadly. Flynn finisher, he is gonna try to make a move on Mike K, and now everyone is very close to each other. Look out down the mini map, just perfect straight line of rainbow colors. And now, I mean, let's see what happens as Shane picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that means Mike K and Shane will be dropping down to pecking order after the end of the Grand Prix. But now, with the RS enabled, the Williams will be going for a move on Shane. And will it be a successful one this? No, it isn't. You will try to go for a switchback, but the corner is a little bit too tight, I think, for a switchback maneuver. But now the Williams driver, he is squeezing the Mercedes driver completely as they robbed a touch, and that's the Mercedes driver down into 6th position. Ginger now gonna try to make a move on him as they make contact. Oh, that's all of them spinning. FRL Ginger lucky there to get aid from Hid, but Hid had to pay the price, and he is into the wall. No safety car, no VSC, and now Flynn, the finisher, he will go for a move on the other McLaren, and it's a VSC as Hid retires from the session. And Hid must be very frustrated. He was nowhere near that fight. Just Shane and the Williams getting too aggressive with their driving. I honestly forgot who hit who there. So much has happened in this Grand Prix. And yeah, I mean, Hid, that was just very unfortunate for him. And now Mike, he will be trying to battle for 3rd position, at least on track with 10 laps remaining. VSC has officially ended, and now Cazizzel, he's going for a move on FRL Ginger around the outside. Overtake mode engaged. No DRS on this straight, unfortunately, for the Ferrari driver. And now let's see, it could be a Ferrari versus 2 Racing Point battle. I'm going to go back a little bit to the front of the pecking order. Is there any moves happening? No, there isn't. So I'll just drop back to the Williams. Oh, that's Shane with leaving it very late to go for his defensive move. And now for FRL Ginger, he's going for a move on his teammate Finley, and that's him up into 7th position. As now Cazizzel, he's trying to go for a move on the Racing Point. I saw just a pixel of his red front wing, and I already knew he was going for the move down the inside of Finley. And now it's been like Shane, Ginger, Finley and Cazizzel. Of course, remember that Shane does have a 3-second time penalty, so he will be demoted down, probably down to around 10th place, as Cazizzel goes really wide at the exit of turn 7. Or should I say turn 8, which isn't the best for him. And now some probably more fighting happening here. Now FRL Ginger, let's see what happens here. Oh, Shane leaving it very late, weaving all over the track, and very lucky for Ginger for not getting any wing damage, as Cazizzel also got in front of Finley, while the Williams got ahead of the McLaren of Mike. So a lot of moves happening here. Finley now, he might be back on the offense, trying to get past the Ferrari driver. No, he didn't go for a move, but Kelvin now, he is very close. He is like a cat ready to pounce at its prey. If one of them makes a mistake, he will go for the move. That's for sure. I mean, he definitely wants some more points than 10th position. And now everybody's basically separated by less than 1 second. Mike with a 3 second time, Kelvin with a 3 second time penalty. And now let's see what Kazizel does, as some very dangerous weaving from Shane, leaving it Kazizel at the very edge of the track, but Kazizel gets ahead of the Mercedes driver as the Mercedes driver tries to go for a dive bomb. Kazizel had to leave him some space there just in case he made contact, but he didn't. So he had to extend track limits a little, as now Finley getting pushed basically off track by the Mercedes, as the Mercedes doing some dirt rally drifting there. He should sign up to Formula Drift, not Formula 1. And Shane now in 9th position, Kelvin right at the back of him. So could we see Shane drop some more positions, and could it be P10 and P11 for the Mercedes crew? As who is that? That's Finley with an amazing save, similar to what Mick Schumacher did in the Haas in testing. And now Kelvin, I think Shane has relaxed a little. He didn't go for as much weaving. He did though cut Kelvin off, which is perfectly legal. And yeah, that's Shane retaining his 8th position, as Finley looking very sketchy here. His car, I mean, very unstable, very unforgiving, as we can see. And now, I mean, everyone's separated by the slightest of margins. 2 tenths behind, between the Williams and Alfa Romeo, and 3 tenths behind Shane is Kelvin, as I hit my mic a little, so sorry about that. And now let's see how Kelvin does. I'm gonna go back to this amazing camera, which I really enjoy. Not too sure if he enjoy it, but I sure do. So now, will he be close enough to the Mercedes to go for a move? Will Shane go defensive? Yes, he does. He covers the inside, but I don't think it's enough for the Haas driver. No, it isn't. They do collide. The Mercedes driver did leave his steering quite wide, and now Ginger is right behind them with a lovely helicopter shot. As we see there, Shane again with barely any ERS to play with, and he gets in front of Kelvin. Of course, it is 4th position, as they both have 3 second time penalties, and so does Finley. Now further up the grid, we see a train forming off behind Cortez with only 5 laps remaining. After this, with Ronan going through the finish line. Now Kazizel, will any of them make a move? FRL Ginger with a very late dive bomb, a la Daniel Ricciardo, and that's him potentially up into 5th position. Yes, it is. Mike has to step down from that, and Kazizel is now on the offense from him, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed. It doesn't seem like it. So Kazizel will retain that 7th position for now. Well, Finley got ahead of Kelvin, and let's see what will happen here. As Ginger now with a 3 second time penalty, which will leave Kazizel going up a few places after the race. Now Kazizel, he could go for a move now on Mike, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed, as I mentioned before. But someone who I think does have the straight line speed is Finley, who is defending from Kelvin, as Kelvin gets really close to tapping Finley on his diffuser. And luckily for him, that didn't happen. Talking about diffusers, I mean, McLaren did an amazing job with their well, kinda exploited, definitely pushing the boundaries in the rulebook. As now Casizel, oh, that is some great uh, correcting from the Ferrari driver. I mean, fair play to him, and he will go for the move on Mike. That could have been race over for the Ferrari driver with only 3 laps remaining after this one. And I mean, not sure why Casizel went for a move. Will he have DRS? Yes, he does, but so does Mike. And Mike does also have that slipstream, but up ahead is QVR Cortez versus Flynn Finisher for second position in the race, and Finisher goes up into second position. Cortez has to step down to third, and now Mike, he is down to 7th position, while Casizel went up to 6th. Yeah, this Grand Prix has went past very fast. I mean, basically nearly an hour, I want to say. Maybe a little bit more than an hour, because a lap is around a minute. So yeah. And let's see if there's any battling happening. Who is close to each other? It's Kelvin, and it is... As Kelvin, he tries to go for a move, as Shane, he tries to shunt Finley. I'm not too sure what he's doing there. They are getting really close to each other, and that is Shane ahead of Finley, and Shane really outbraking himself there. Finley losing the traction a little, which means Kelvin will get ahead of him as well. And now up ahead, I think it's Flynn Finisher versus the Williams of Pierre Bjord. I'm not too sure what happened there. I was focusing on the other battle, but the Williams doing an amazing job here, going up to 2nd position. And the last 2 laps, the last lap, as we are on the penultimate lap now, as Rowan will get past onto the start-finish straight. He will start the final lap. I was about to say flying. The final lap. Flynn Finisher, will he be close enough to Williams? Yes, he is. He goes for a move down the inside, and will he be able to retain that position? Yes, he is. And I don't know if he'll be able to stick with it, but that further down the grid, it's Shane versus Kelvin right now. Shane losing the traction a little, Kelvin up into 8th position, but going back to the front is QVR Cortez. Could he seal that last podium position off of the Williams driver? As there's yellow flags. Who is that? That is Shane going off the road, and that promotes VR, Kelvin and Finley up into 8th and 9th respectively. But now Rowan, he is coming up to the end of the lap. Just going to check back on QVR Cortez. Will he be... No, he isn't. As we see now, Rowan going through the checkered flag, and that's him winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. As now Flynn Finisher is ahead of VR Bird. I saw him slow down a lot there, so I was a little bit surprised. Cortez in 4th, Casizel in 5th after penalties have been applied, Everell Ginger in 6th, Mike Kay in 7th, Finley in 8th after a small crash there, if I do say so the least, and Kelvin in 9th, and I think it was Shane in 10th, and in 11th it was the other Mercedes. As we see now, Rowan dancing on the podium. He is very happy of himself. And yeah, I mean, great race from him. Absolutely commanded the lead. And it's... I was about to say an all-Dutch podium. I'm not too sure about on that one. I would have to be corrected, because I don't think VR Bjor... No, it was Flynn Finisher who is racing under the Panama flag. So I doubt that's Dutch, if I'm being honest. And yeah, the Alarmati down in 11th after spinning at the start of the green period, green flag running. And the DNFs for tonight were Hid, Cola Killer, VR Symbolics, VR Quicksilver, Jurgen, Ismail, Obi-Twan, Tijman, and Jules. I mean, great Grand Prix tonight. If I had to pick a driver of the day, it would be either Rowan or Kazizel, both of them doing an amazing job. And I mean, thanks for watching tonight's social event. Make sure to follow Virtual Esports Racing. Just gonna double check that. Virtual Esports are on Twitter and cat name Minty on Twitter. Just a self plug. Um, Make sure to subscribe to the Virtual Esports Racing YouTube as well. And thank you for watching this Bahrain shirt 100% race. My voice is completely gone. And yeah, now I'm signing off.